Hello everyone, Johnny Miner here, and today we are continuing to learn Japanese with Pokémon FireRed. Last time we had a shorter episode because of the Star Fox Direct before playing this, but we still managed to catch a new Pokémon, a Rattata. So check also the Pokédex, of course, as usual. Went into the gate to Viridian Forest, talk to the NPCs there. So yeah, today we'll actually start Viridian Forest itself. Yeah, without further ado, let's start. Okay. Yeah, as you can see, this time I show it quickly. We have 5 Pokemon in the Pokédex. Should be the one straight up caught, because otherwise it would be more. But yeah. As usual, we still have the TCTV or Therapy in Japanese after the catching tutorial. We defeated our rival on Route 22. Checked out the league gate. We couldn't proceed further there. Bought some Pokeballs for 2,000 yen. And yeah, we saved straight up here, right before entering the forest. Yeah, so let's do so. And yeah, on the top left, Tokyo no Mori, as we have already seen. Viridian Forest, and also that picture, because yeah, when you enter such places in FireRed and Leaf Green, we have those, pretty cool. Yeah, let's start with this sign. Yeah, it's as usual one of these useful bulletin boards and so on. I've already seen it. Let's check which tip it has to for us this time. Pokémon o Tsukamairu Toki wa Narubeku Yowarasu Tekara. So yeah. Pokémon, the object particle or returns or pronounces such in careful speech and also singing. Tsukamairu, the usual verb we have seen in this game for to catch. Toki, accent on the last moment on the key. Time, moment, occasion, and so on. So literally, we have what comes before it is a relative clause modifying it. It's a noun. In practice, so literally would be the time, moment, occasion in which you catch Pokemon. In translation, we can simply say when we have these structures with Toki, when you catch Pokemon. Topic particle wa returns ha. Narubeku. This is a straight up new. Technically is well, it's considered nowadays simply an adverb, and it is technically, but it's an expression because it comes from naru, the usual verb to become, and then we have this beku, which actually comes from an adjective. Beshi would be, and yeah, as you might remember from the C at the end, it's actually the classical form of E adjectives in from classical Japanese. And yeah, on its own is not used nowadays. We use, on the other hand, some of its conjugated forms. technically we could still find also Beshi, but yeah, more often than not we find some conjugated forms. In this case, Beku. And so yeah, with the ku is the continuative form, or we could say also adverbial form. And yeah, in this case it's straight up in the sense acting as an adverb. Beshi, for its meaning, is actually must, should, ought to. Other similar translations still must, but as in will, surely, shall, as in will do. So yeah, the usages are technically must and so on. The last one also actually has volition. But yeah, in our case we have this structure here. So yeah, this expression literally becoming, we could say, by keeping it technically, should become. So yeah, the meaning nowadays actually of this Narubeku. By the way, unaccented, so be careful despite the accent of Naru. And also I think of, can find Beshi there on its own. Usually nowadays the one used is Becky. And that one, yeah, as I remembered, is actually accented on the first mora. So yeah, be careful, because it's weird that the accent of this compound becomes unaccented as mentioned. But yeah, from that must, should, and so on, become, the meaning nowadays is as much as possible, as much as one can, and so on. But yeah. So yeah, in our case, yeah, that. And then we have Yowarase Tekara. I think we have straight up seen it before. But we'll quickly repeat it. It comes from Yowaru. To become weak. To grow weak, actually, but to weaken. An intransitive verb. Verb, colon verb, so we can change the U into A and then add seru to make the causative form of the verb. So yeah, to make weak, and then in practice as if it were simply the transitive form of the verb. As we have seen, actually, what are considered simple, quote-unquote, transitive forms of verbs nowadays, several actually straight up come from classical forms of the causative. But yeah, the causative in its contemporary conjugation is a verb verb. So we can simply drop the ru to make the conjugative form, in this case to then add te, to make that a form. In this case required because then we add kara. When we add kara after the form of a verb, it has the meaning since, after, simply after or since. And yeah, we've seen most certainly this form again, because yeah, here it's repeating, of course. The translation in here is as for when you implied catch Pokemon, or one catches Pokemon, as much as possible after making them weak, after weakening them. And yeah, so what the old man actually didn't do. So yeah. And then yeah, it simply says Pokemon Genki Dato Nigeru Kamo Shirenai yo. Pokemon again, Ga, the subject particle, Genki, the adjective, which means full of spirit, that one is kind of closer to the kanji, because the key is the usual one for spirit, mind, and so on. Literally would be original spirit, but yeah, as in full of spirit, lively, energetic, healthy. Non-adjective, and so yeah, here we have the copula da after it, because then we had the to if when one of the form ways to make the conditional, or also used in a temporal sense if when, just like in English. In Japanese, this one is the closest to the zero conditional, so yeah, if that when that happens, something inevitably then is supposed to happens. Yeah, in this case we can't say definitely, because actually the structure, as we see, is not like that. Because after it we have nigeru, to escape, to flee, and so on. To run away, accented. And yeah, last but not least, we have this structure ka mo shirenai. And yeah, is an expression. Literally, we use ka, so the interrogative particle, used actually for an indirect question here. We'll see why in a second. Mo, the inclusive particle, also even, so here simply it's meaning even. And then we have shirenai from shiru, to know, to get to know technically, based on its usage, but let's say in general to know here simply. Unaccented should be, yes, it's unaccented. We can change the u verb colon verb, so we can change the u into e, and then add the ru, can be seen because of further conjugation, to make the potential form of the verb. So can, know. Potential forms of verbs are ru verbs, itself verbs, so we can then drop the ru to make the irrealis, not yet state form, negative form of the verb. And yes, simply with nai, the adjective which means non-existent, and used to make the negative form of verbs in plain speech. And yeah, so actually cannot know. Last but not least, we have the final sentence particle yo, you know, or hey, certainty or emphasis, it's the most common usage. But yeah, the structure kamo shirenai literally means can't know, can't even know the even from the mo, if, whether, and then actually the rest of the sentence, so actually used as an indirect question as mentioned. So that's why we use the particle ka, the interrogative particle ka. Yeah, in this case can't even know whether the Pokemon will, the present can be used also for a simple future, so in this case I say yes, will flee if or when it's healthy. Simpler form, we could say, if when the Pokemon is healthy, it could escape. So yeah, that kamo shiremasen, kamo shirenai here, kamo shiremasen is simply in the polite form. May, could, so yeah, as in usually could be not, may, might, possibly, cioè a 50-50, or simply in general, not clear anyway. But yeah, so actually pretty easy, the usual stuff, but we checked it out. Then this NPC says, Tomodachi to mushi Pokémon tori ni kiterunda. Yeah, first and foremost we have this Tomodachi, which technically comes from Tomo, accent on the first more, which means friend, companion, comrade, pal, and so on. Companion also technically by extension for a companion book, something like that. And then we would add tachi, the pluralizing suffix, here with also the voicing of the consonant, because technically becomes the second word part of a compound is of strictly Japanese origin, so even more so. But in practice nowadays it's actually used for friend, also singular. Tomo is they prefer not to use Tomo on its own, most likely to avoid actually some confusion. Tomodachi is clearer that can be other things. And so, from technically the plural form of the noun, we make the usual term that could be singular, could be plural, depending on the context. And by the way, it loses also Tomodachi is straight up unaccented, so yeah, we don't use the usual rules for tachi. As you have seen, that one luckily is always the accent when used as the proper suffix, so usually with and with its pluralizing meaning, the accent is before tachi itself. We have seen, for example, the usual in Super Mario World, Mario Tachi, Mario and Ko. The accent is on the O right before of Mario, right before the tachi. But yeah, so yeah, friends actually here plural, as we see, could be singular technically because of what I mentioned. Then we have the particle to with someone in this case. Mushi, we have seen it already in this series. Insect, bug. Yeah, after it, Pokemon, so yeah, insect, Pokemon. Mushi on its own unaccented. Then we have Tori. From Toru, to take. Could say still to catch, but yeah, Toru is more in general simply to take. Which verb got a verb, so we can change the U into E to make the contractive form. In this case, required because then we use the particle ni to catch, to take, with a verb of movement. So we have this structure, contractive form of a verb ni, and then a verb of movement, usually simply iku, to go, or like here, kuru, to come. Here conjugated, kuru is completely irregular, so we have to remember that it becomes ki, its continuative form, and then we attach the te to it, simply kite. the accent moves on the te, despite the being kuru accent on the first mora, because the e of ki is barely heard if at all. The form required because then we had ru, actually iru, the is simply dropped to shorten it. Iru to be as in to exist of animate things, people and animals on its own, but after that the form of a verb, continuing action or state. So actually in this case, it's not are coming, because yeah, continuing action would be technically to be doing the action of the verb. Continuing state to have, add, whatever the verb says. So in this case would actually to have come. And then last but not least the usual nda, noda, no the nominalizer for verbs, thing as in fact, da the copula again. This expression noda here contracted as nda, but it's the same. Literally it is that, the fact is that, the explanation is that, and so on. But yeah, so he's saying that I've come with my friends to catch insect Pokemon. Pokemon shobu shitakute minna uzu shiteru yo. Then we have Pokemon shobu. Yeah, Pokemon battles. So shobu is the usual. We have seen it in this series, surprisingly, because it means literally it comes from victory or defeat, but yeah, then by extension it becomes match, contest, and so on. In the case of Pokemon battles. Accent on the first mora is a Chinese compound, one of those with that accent, the second most common one, based on what we have seen so far also. Then we have shitakute, from suru, to do, unaccented. The other completely irregular verb, so we have to remember that its continuity form is shi. In this case, to add then tai, an auxiliary adjective, e-adjective, with the meaning want to do, the action of the verb in the continuity form, would like to do, the desiderative form, and then can be conjugated as has to be conjugated like a adjective. It's a adjective. So in this case, we drop the e to add ku to make again the adverbial form, better continuative form in this case, because yeah, it's used then to attach the te to make the form of the verb of the adjective in this case. The form of the adjective here simply with the usual meaning of the form do the action of the verb and the rest of the sentence, or by doing, while doing, and so on. Then we have minna, everyone, everybody. With the its fundamental form would actually be mina. The accent is always on the last mora, on the na. But yeah, the more formal one would be mina, the original form. We have also a more emphatic and less formal form with this additional n. This is the one you will hear the most, minna. Then we have uzu. As you can tell, also by the sound, is an adverb. Sorry, I wanted to say an onomatopoeia used as an adverb usually. Here, actually, as we'll see in a second, made into a verb simply by adding suru. But yeah, first its meaning well, its accent is like most of these onomatopoeias on the first molar, so yeah, uzu. Itching to do something, impatient, sorely tempted, eager. And yeah, then we had suru, again it's the form, to then add iru, shortened, here we only have a ru, and then last but not least the final sentence particle, yo. So yeah. One thing we could say it like this to keep it even closer to the original form here in Japanese. One thing to do Pokemon battles, to take part in Pokemon battles, everyone is eager to do so. So yeah, we can simply adapt it, and everyone is itching, eager, and so on to do Pokemon battles. Everyone wants to do Pokemon battles and is eager for that. So yeah, pretty easy, but yeah, that actually is mentioning something. We got to hear a sound there, a Pokemon that we'll see eventually here. First and foremost, let's get these. Let me quickly show, even though it should be the usual structure we've seen before. Although I don't remember if we have straight up seen. I don't remember if we have straight up found an item so far. So I quickly mention, the rest is the usual. We have Reddo wa, Monster, Boru, Misketa. Reddo, the name of our protagonist, Red, topic particle wa, Monster, Boru, Monster Ball, the Pokeball, name in Japanese, object particle, Mitsketa, from a compound verb, Mitskeru, from Miru, to see, to look at, to watch. Ru verb is some verb, so we can drop the ru. To add Sukeru, the U is barely heard if at all. To attach, to join, to add, to apply, and so on. So yeah, literally attaching, seeing. So yeah, actually it means to find, to discover, to come across, to spot. You can see even better with the translation, and so on. So to find. The accent is unaccented, so be careful, unlike usual, because Tsukeru is accented and usually it's kept. The accent of the second verb part of the compounds, but there are exceptions. Ru verb is some verb, like Tsukeru on its own. So yeah, we can simply drop the ru to make the continuative form, and then to add ta and make the past form of the verb in plain speech. So simply, as for Red, he applied, found a Monster Ball. Yeah, so with that we have definitely seen now that structure for sure. This is the usual one. I mentioned only the translation. As for Red, he put away the Monster Ball into the ball pocket. Yeah, that we have seen for sure before. So yeah, we got that. Oh yeah, we have tall grass, so we start finding... Oh, okay, we found a beetle. So yeah, this is new. Yeah, we'll catch it. I think that's new. Let's check. Not the structure as usual. Because yeah, we have the usual Yasei no Pidoru no Ito Haku Kogeki. Yeah, Wild Beetle. The name of the Pokemon, Weedle. Possessive particle again. The name of the attack, and that's what interests us here. And then Kogeki attack. Oh yeah, the name of this attack is Ito o Haku. I feel like we have seen before Ito, but I think maybe somewhere else, not in this attack, because I don't think I mentioned recently Haku as a verb. And also we'll have to check its actions for that reason. But yeah, Ito means is accent on the first mora. We have seen it somewhere that I remember. It means thread, yarn, string, thread, the fundamental meaning. Object particle O. Haku means to this one, because there are other Haku. This one accented, okay, on the first mora. So the second to last mora, but it's also the first mora because it's short. To spit up, so unfortunately also to throw up, to vomit. More in general than from that to spit up, to emit, to send forth, breathe out. Other extended meanings, but yeah. The fundamental one, to spit up, would be so spitting, thread. Yeah. It's I'm forgetting its English name currently, but yeah, it's the usual attack, which, as we see here, reduces, as it says here, the speed, Subayasa. Oh yeah. So that, okay, we can go back. We still attack here. Okay, that one we have also not seen before. Oof. Actually, I want to also check out that, as unfortunately that happened. I also take a screenshot of that. Oh yeah. First and foremost, we have the attack itself. Dokubari. Doku actually should be on its own Doku, if I recall correctly. We've seen it in this series, Poison. And the accent on the last mora on its own. But here used as part of the compound, because then we have Bari. Actually, as you might have guessed, again, comes from Hari. Then we have the voicing of the consonant, because it's the second word part of a compound of strictly Japanese origin. And yeah, on its own, Hari. Accent on the first mora. Okay. Means needle, pin. Other extended meanings, but yeah, the fundamental one is needle. So yeah, poison needle. I think it's more or less the same also in English. So yeah. Yeah. We got poisoned, so only didn't simply get hit, but it says here, Monkey wa doku o abita. Yeah, Monkey, the name of our Pokemon. Topic particle wa. Doku, again, poison. Object particle. And then we have this Abita. Wonder if I find it straight up as the expression, because I suspect it's technically Nope. Okay. You simply have to, we simply have the verb abiru, which in its most common usage is, and more clearly literal usage is actually to bath in, or also used to take a shower. Then of course actually also used for to bask in the sun. All the meanings related to bathing. By extension, though, it becomes to suffer an attack, be showered with, technically, by further extension to draw criticism, attention, and so on. But yeah, in our case, clearly, in the sense to suffer the poison, figuratively being showered in the poison. Abiru is, by the way, I didn't mention its accent, but yeah, as I remembered correctly, is unaccented. So yeah, through verb is and verb, we can simply drop the ru to make the continuative form and then add ta to make the past form. So yeah, Mankey got poisoned. Got showered figuratively in the poison. Then we attacked. And then, yeah, last but not least, we suffer this, we have this Mankey wa doku no dameji o uketeiru. Mankey wa, again, as for Mankey. Doku, the poison, possessive particle no. Damage is simply from English, clearly. Damage. The accent, I suspect, is actually moved. But we'll check. Yeah, as mentioned. Yeah, in English should be damage. But yeah, here is damage. Notice also the longer vowel. So, yeah, the accent is on the me. So yeah, be careful. Is actually kind of similar in a way to because clearly it's a word should be from French, damage. Damage, and yeah, notice that then the accent would be proper, but yeah, it's kind of a mix of the two in a way. But yeah, object particle as usual, and then we have uketeiru from ukeru. We check its accent. It means to receive. By extension, then again, actually to sustain damage, to suffer an injury, and so on. But yeah, more literal, simply to receive. As for its accent, okay, ukeru. Ru verb is and verb, so yeah, we can again drop the ru to make the continuative form and then add the te. Again, required here to make the teiru form continuing action or state. So as for Mankey, he's sustaining, more literally simply receiving the poison damage, the damage of the poison. So yeah, we got to see that, unfortunately. Well, fortunately for the explanation, but not for the gameplay. Yeah, we'll tackle here. Yeah, we keep on getting damaged. We catch this Weedle. Perfect. Okay. Got it. And yeah, of course, it gets added to the Pokédex. Okay, that was... well, we could actually simply check it. We'll do so, actually. Not now. Especially not in these conditions. Especially for poor Mankey. Let's switch to... actually, let's simply flee for now. Yeah, that's the effect shown of the poison in the overworld. Yeah, I'll actually choose the option here for the Pokédex. We won't check the rest here. Simply to check out Widow's page for now. So yeah, Bidoru, Widow's Japanese name as already mentioned. Kemushi Pokemon. So yeah, this one is a compound clearly with Mushi, again insect bug. Before it we have Ke, which on its own means hair. As for its accent, I think accent, but let me find it quickly. Oh no, unaccented, sorry. Unaccented Ke, hair, actually also fur, wool. Usually not used on its own, especially for hair, as we see. But those are the meanings. Combined with insect bug, yeah, we get a hairy bug insect. So actually, more specifically, hairy caterpillar. Technically woolly, but as it's also the other term. Unaccented. So it's a compound, one of the unaccented ones. Sight, weight. By the way, the icon next to it, I'll quickly show it for comparison. We checked those other aspects at the time. Not this one. It doesn't show it. Yeah, the icon immediately next to the height and the weight, I didn't mention it, is the footprint or whatever that Pokemon has. Yeah, so here simply that circle would be technically. Oh yeah, as for the Pokédex page, which is what interests us here for now, is the good news is that we actually can. Actually, I did a mistake by not checking it here. Let me actually quickly show it with this. Because yeah, above it, in the usual page would be Morino Pokemon, so forest Pokemon. We have seen it before, I'm pretty sure. And so we will find it here also in this category. Oh yeah, as for its what the Pokédex says about it is Moriya Kusachi ni Oku Seisoku. So yeah, first we have Mori again, forest, unaccented. Yeah, the particle, such things as, or and so on. So yeah, it's used for non-exhaustive lists of nouns. After it we have Kusachi. So a compound simply from Xa, should be accented on the last mora. Yes, it is. The U is barely heard if at all because it's between a voice consonants as usual. Xa. Grass, as we have already seen before. And then we had Chi, which means earth, ground, land. Then by extension also place, territory, and so on. Accented on its own Chi. So yeah, Xa-Chi literally means grass, land. So yeah. Unaccented, by the way, is Xa-Chi. So another strictly Japanese compound, unaccented. Yeah, we have seen several of them actually with this, like this. When they don't follow the usual rules for accents in compounds in general, as we have seen. Particle ni. I think in at here simply. So location, usually with verbs of staying. Not the usual one in this case, as we see. But yeah. First we have oku. From oi. Many, numerous, a lot. The adjective. So yeah, we can drop the i to add ku to make the continuative form or adverbial form. And yeah, here I suspect simply as an adverb. Accented on the o, and in this case it doesn't move the accent because even in its e form is always already on the first o. Yeah, oku. And then we have this seisoku. Clearly a Chinese compound. You can easily tell also based on the pronunciation. Unaccented, like those usually are. The se is actually, or sei, depending on how you pronounce it. Some pronounce it simply as long a, some keep the a. But yeah. It's actually the kanji for to live we've studied before in Kirby's Adventure. But yeah, this seisoku, unsurprising considering also that means inhabiting, living. So yeah, actually, then here implied there's suru, because yeah, on its own the would be a noun. To make it a verb, we would have to add suru, to do, inhabiting, living, to inhabit, to live. But yeah, here is implied. And yeah, actually this is typical language found in books, as we have seen. And yeah, so applies also here to the Pokédex. So yeah, simply the translation, however, is a lot of them implied inhabit in forests, grasslands, and so on. Then it says, Atama no saki ni 5 senchi gurai no chisaku surudoi dokubari o motsu. And yeah, first we have Atama. I think we might have seen it before, but it means a head. Accented on the last mora, technically. Yes, it is. I think this is one of those terms that actually have variant forms, but yeah, let's keep it simple. Accent on the last mora, just like actually other body parts, which are usually accent on the last mora or unaccented. Here becomes then unaccented, despite because it's followed by the possessive particle no, and that makes words accent on the last syllable unaccented. of the head. Saki, we have seen it before. Here actually it's literal physical meaning, point, tip, end. So, the tip of the head. Again, the particle ni. In this case, more like on. We'll see then simply in translation, but yeah. Then we have go sensi, 5 sensi, clearly sensi, an abbreviation of centimeter. But yeah, then with, in this case, it's an older word, so they keep it, simply kept it simple. The T becomes Chi because Tachi, Tsute, To of the Tagyo, the Taro of Kana. On its own sensi, accent on the Se. Centimetru would be centimeter, the full word, accented on the Me. Because, yeah, Metoru, actually unaccented, okay. Worth keeping in mind. It's one of those words from English that become unaccented in Japanese. Notice that I actually already mentioned centimetru as the accent. Yeah, is on the accent of centimetru is on the me. So yeah, actually in this case, not simply because it's the accent of the word. It isn't. It's because it's the first mora of the second word part of the compound. So actually the typical spot for the accent in compounds. So yeah, there we have proof of that also. Oh yeah, usually sensi. Let me quickly check, take the physical dictionary to see. Because of course in practice here it is go senses a numera plus counter. Okay, got both dictionaries in case we need them. In this case, I want simply the one with the counters. I suspect this is will be easy, but we'll see it. Let me check it just to be sure. Yeah, can confirm my suspicion was correct. I remember correctly. This is easy because actually you keep the accent of the word itself. So yeah, sensi. So we mentioned accent on the first mora on the se. So we always keep the accent there. What's worth mentioning is that we have some contractions, like for one is sensi, the usual ones. Ni sensi, san sensi, yon sensi, also here with the strictly Japanese word for instead of shi, again for the usual matter of being identical to the pronunciation of death in Japanese and from Chinese. Go sensi, rock sensi, this one doesn't get contracted. The sixth, nana sensi, has sensi, the 8 does get contracted. Q sensi, and then the usual 10 also contracted. Jus sensi or jis sensi. Jus sensi usually with the ju is the pronunciation more common nowadays. G technically would be an older one, maybe also more formal technically, or at the very least more old-fashioned technically. But yeah, jus sensi or jis sensi, so yeah, another contraction. By the way, same for centimetru. So you keep the accent on the me in that case. It is centimetro and so on. After it, we have gurai, which means approximately, technically considered a particle on the online dictionary. For its accent, I have a suspicion. Let me check in the other dictionary if I can find it. By the way, yeah, kurai would be, but there is also this alternative form with the voice in gurai. I suspect simply because of the usual rule, because it becomes kind of the second word part of a compound is of strictly Japanese origin. But yeah, the meaning is approximately, about, around. Can also be technically to about the extent that almost enough that as an extended meaning from that, but yeah, usually use it simply about, around, approximately. Let me quickly check. Kurai. Okay. Now that with verbs and doesn't interest us for now. Although, okay. By the way, I can mention quickly that technically with verbs and adjectives, either they follow the accent of the word or become, if that one is unaccented, then the accent is on the ku of kurai. And actually the same for nouns. So in this case we would simply keep the accent of the word. So yeah, go senshi gurai. So actually much easier. I found it as kurai, but yeah, it isn't mentioned here, but yeah, should apply also to kurai, the voiced variant. Then we have the possessive particle not to attach it to the rest to a noun, as we see. But before it we have actually chisaku from chisai, the adjective, which means small. We've actually seen it, a word derived from it last time in this very series. We've seen chichai, I think the NPC used, but yeah, still clearly from the same word. Here we can see it properly, although of course conjugated, we drop the e, add ku to make the continuative form or adverbial form. In this case, it's actually better to remember that it is technically the continuative form of the adjective because it's used in such a sense. So with the meaning of what the adjective says and the rest actually usually used to connect two adjectives. And yeah, actually the usual usage of the te form, because actually the te of the te form is a continuative form of an auxiliary in classical Japanese. Using the continuative form directly instead of the te form is more formal or used or literary language, and again perfect, for example, here for a book, for the Pokédex. And again, we see another aspect like that. The accent moves on the chi, because yeah, chi sai would move on the third to last more, but yeah, it's simply the longer vowel, so it can stay there. Moves further before, cioè on the Chisaku. Then we have Surudoi, we have seen it this before, maybe even last time, in reference to this, of course, because yeah, it means sharp or pointed, sharp, knife, close, and so on, pointed, accented. So these adjectives, and also the we have seen 5 cent, about around 5 centimeters, small, pointed, let's say better in this case, dokubari, again, we find it, poison needle, technically can also be found in the form, I didn't mention it because I actually didn't think I could find it straight up in the dictionary. Yeah, makes sense because it's technically the sting, or better, stinger, and then by extension sting of a bee and so on. Literally needle covered with poison. Poison needle. There's also the alternative form dokushin, using weirdly enough, actually not, because doku will technically be the Chinese reading of the kanji. Shin is the Chinese reading of the kanji of hari. So yeah, regular Chinese compound dokushin. The U is barely heard, if at all, because it's between a voice consonants, dokushin, unaccented. But yeah, there's also this alternative form we can see here. Object particle O, and then last but not least, motsu, to hold, technically in hand, but yeah, here, not in that sense, by extension then, to possess, to have. So yeah, the translation here is on the end of, on the point of the head, it possesses a 5 centimeter small pointed poison needle. Oh yeah, so we got to see that. We'll check the rest here. We weren't supposed to be in the Pokédex, so we quickly go to because yeah, we really need it, as you can see also with the poison. And yeah, then it says this. Okay, no. We needed to. I thought it could slightly continue, but no. Simply says that Manki wa chikaratsukita. So as for Manki, and then we have this chikaratsukita. Chikara, we have seen strength, accent on the last more, on its own, force, strength, might, vigor, and so on, energy, by extension also capability, ability. And then we have tsukiru, so the U barely heard if at all because it's between voice consonants. On its own means to be used up, to be run out. It's the intransitive verb. So to be exhausted, even better technically. To be consumed, and so on, accented, tsukiru. So in this case, it becomes a compound, technically, chikaratsukiru, to use up all one's strength. So to use up strength. Can see the accent of it. I hope is simply the accent of Tsukiru. Can find it in the physical dictionary. Let me quickly see if it's present in the physical one. I have doubts. Nope. Yeah, let's guess. We can confirm it by simply on the Tsukiru. Just like Tsukiru on its own. Ru verb is a verb, so yeah, we can drop the ru, continuative form to then add ta, make the past form of the verb. So Mankey used all its strength, used up all its strength, and if we check out, yeah, Mankey has 0 HPs, got exhausted, so we really needed to do that. So yeah, we'll heal. We'll actually buy some antidotes to avoid having other such issues. But we might consider coming back at least once back to the PC for a certain reason. But yeah, then to avoid having to come back to the city, since it will take some time anyway. I won't explain this for now. Okay, yeah, for now we actually straight up, by the way, don't have that issue soon enough. Hopefully, in a way, we'll have it. And yeah, also for that I consider I would like to come back to the PC at least once. But still, let's get the items right now. Yeah, okay. I could also use some potions since, although we are pretty poor here, I'd say a couple of potions. The ones I used in the rival battle. And 5 antidotes. We'll definitely find more items on the ground and so on, but yeah, we'll start with that. I'll actually get quickly back to Viridian Forest, but we'll actually then take a short break, around 5 minutes, most likely slightly less, because yeah, I need it after. Yeah, then we'll actually continue Viridian Forest. So I actually stop here for a second. I'll save just to be completely sure, but yeah, we'll continue after this, after the break. So yeah, see you then. And we're back. So yeah, we can continue. And yeah, re-enter Viridian Forest. Okay, to the left we have gone. There shouldn't be anything else. Well, we could continue to the right there. But I think we'll start from the bottom again. Well, we have another sign, by the way. And another NPC, so let's quickly check them. 持ってるポケモンが弱ってきて戦わせたくない時は So funny enough, what happened to us with Mankey there? So yeah, 持ってる from Motsu to hold again to but then by extension to possess to have. In this case actually, as in hold, as we see why. Verb go and verb, so to make the form we have to follow the rules. It's in su, so it becomes double consonant te. Again, we change the u into e to make the continuative form original moti te without the change, because in classical Japanese that wasn't the case. Then the if mot te, so simply doubling of the following consonant motte. Then again to simply add iru, continuing action or state. After it, Pokemon, so actually a verb in attributive position. If it were a clause, we would have a relative clause. The Pokemon that implied you are holding, so the one actually in your team, technically in this case, should be subject particle ga. Yowatte, so yeah, Yowaru here on its own. It that form, again, it's in Ru, so same. U into E, Yowari te, but then the ifel, Yowar te, difficult to pronounce, double consonant te, simply doubling of the following consonant. In this case, because then we had kite from Kuru, funny enough, again the te form. So yeah, first te form of Yowatte, because we had Kuru, so yeah, one of the verbs of movement, so in this case, come, I'd say in a temporal sense, up to this point, the form of kite is required, on the other hand, simply to do the action of the verb and the rest of the sentence. Then we have Tatakawase taku nai. So from tatakau to fight. Also then in the sense of to compete. But yeah, here Pokemon battles, if we keep it in that translation English, to fight. We change the U into A. Here becomes actually wa, because of, again, verbs in u verb, colon verb, but also straight up with u as the final mora, were actually in pu. So they then the p actually changed into w because of the further evolution of the language. So yeah, wa, we, u remained without it, simply lost it. We, wo, but only the wa remains nowadays. So yeah, that's why. So yeah, we change the u into a, and then add se, ru, to make the causative form. So yeah, causative form of the verb to let, make, to the action of the verb. Ru verb, its and verb are causative forms are ru verbs, its and verbs. In this case, we drop the ru to make the continuative form, to then add tai again. So yeah, want to, would like to. E adjective, so then we can drop the e, add ku, to make, in this case, actually the Irialis not yet, well, technically yes, but in general we could say also to make to conjugate the adjective, the E adjective. In this case we drop the E, add Q, and then to add nai, so make the negative form of the adjective. After it we have toki, so again technically relative clause, modifying toki. In practice, when translating, then simply when. Topic particle wa, so the translation so far is when you when your Pokemon have become weak, got weak up to this point, the Pokemon that you are holding, and you don't want to make them fight, and yeah, then it says, yeah, easier said than done. Xamura o Yokete Kairo. Xamura, as we have already seen before in this very series, a compound noun from Kusa again, Xa, grass, Mura, group. Well, more than group would technically be gathering. Accent on the last mora. And also, by the way, the word for village, unsurprisingly, from gathering, then you get by extension village, gathering of people in a village. But yeah, so yeah, literally grass gathering. So yeah, it's the grass, a grassy place, especially with long, dense grass. So yeah, the usual tall grass of Pokemon games. The accent of Samura is unaccented, so yeah, yet again we see one of these strictly Japanese compounds unaccented. Then we have the object particle O. Yokete from Yokeru, to avoid. It's worth mentioning that there's also another verb, Sakeru, both accented, and notice how similar they are technically. You will see it straight up also with the kanji, because yeah, they should actually use the same kanji. But yeah, Yokeru means to avoid physical contact with. Sakeru means to avoid a situation, evade a question, and so on. And yeah, here, Yokeru, unsurprisingly, physically, the form, so yeah, we drop the ru verb is a verb. We drop the ru to add the te to make the form. The accent moves, so in this case, third to last mora for the accent of the forms when accented. So yeah, with ru verbs, it's and verbs, the accent moves yokete. So again, in this case, do the action of the verb and the rest of the sentence, or by while doing the action of the verb. Honestly, maybe more the latter in this case. Last but not least, we have Kairo. This one most certainly, actually we can confirm it because of its conjugation here. Because it's Kairu accented on the first mora, because it's considered a diphthong ae, so that's why. To return, to come home, to go home, to go back. Verb, Godan verb, despite being a verb in eru, because verbs in eru and iru usually are ru verbs, ichidan verbs. There are some of them that are actually verb, Godan verb. So yeah, be careful, you simply have to remember them. So yeah, That's, by the way, why we can confirm that this is Kairu with this meaning instead of the one Kairu, by the way, an accented, which means to change. Because yeah, being a U verb colon verb, we can change the U into O and then add U, so actually to make the long, the O long, O, to make the volitional form of the verb. Let's. So here it's saying, when you don't want to fight, when the Pokemon you are holding are got weak and you don't want to fight, to make them fight, go back, let's go back by or while avoiding the tall grass. Yeah, easier said than done when you are in the middle of it. Yeah, we wanted to come here, then also for this NPC here. Pokemon Toro... sorry. Pokemon Toro Otoshite Monster Boru Nagete Tara. And then it continues. Oh yeah, first we have Pokemon. Okay, most likely actually an implied object object particle O. And then we have this Toro from Toru again, to take, to catch. Again, U verb colon verb, so yeah, we can change the U into O, long O, OU again, so long O, volitional form once more. In this case, because it's required by the... after it, we add the to, suru. To, here straight up actually technically required by the structure of this expression. Technically with, let's say in the sense of the quotation particle. But yeah, then we add the suru, the verb to do. But yeah, after the volitional form of verbs, when we add to suru, we could say technically do, and then as if we were quoting what we are doing. But yeah, after the volitional form of the verb, it means to try to do, or to be about to do. After the dictionary form of a verb, it would be actually to decide to. But yeah. Then we simply make that a form of suru, shite becomes, with the usual meanings, and the rest of the sentence, let's say here. Then we have monster boru again, monster ball. Again, another implied object particle. Because then we have nagete tara. From nageru, to throw. A typical verb for Pokeballs. Accent should be. It is. Verb it's a verb, so we can drop the ru to add the tet, make the tet form. Then we have tara, so actually should be itara. So iru, so the usual teiru form, continuing action or state. Then we drop the ru to add the ta, make the ta form of the verb. And then we add ra. Tara is actually another form to make a conditional. The conditional in Japanese if, when, so actually can also have a temporal sense, temporal meaning. This one technically, the focus is on the action of the verb in this conditional form having happened before everything what's said after can happen. Again, makes sense since we pass from the ta form, the past form of the verb. So when, if, when, I say maybe better in this case, when you are trying to catch Pokémon and throw the Pokeball. Then it says Sugu Naku Nachatta. First we have Sugu. Not sure in which sense it says after. We have to see after the second part of this. But yeah, Sugu means immediately, at once, right away, and so on. Accent on the first mora. Nakunaru technically will come from Nai, the adjective which means non-existent, also used for the negative forms of verbs as we have seen. We change we drop the E and add ku to make the adverbial form required then by the verb naru to become. Yeah, nowadays straight up used as a verb, like a sort of compound verb, but yeah, literally would be adjective in its adverbial form plus naru. Becomes an accented, also be careful, despite the accent of the adjective and the naru. Means to be lost, missing, or to be used up, run out, exhausted, and so on. Literally becomes non-existent, becomes nothing. So yeah, because of those, because of that, it gets these meanings. More interesting, naru. First we make the form, so would be natte. In this case to add shimau, to finish, to end. Also on its own as the meaning to put away, as we have seen actually is the verb used there to put away the items. But after that form of a verb, shimau, unaccented by the way, adds the meanings technically to finish, as in to do completely, or more often than not actually to end up. So yeah, to do accidentally, to do without meaning to happen to do. So in ours, in that case, in this case, in that I'd say. Okay, I get what he's saying. He's talking about what happened to him. So yeah, in that sense, now it makes sense. When I threw the Pokeball, did whatever it was mentioned there, and threw the Pokeball, the Pokeballs technically, I immediately ran out, or I ended up running out of them immediately. Okay. And then, yeah, to tell us, Kimi mo ome ni katte oku to iyo. We actually already did it. But yeah, first Kimi. Second, person singular pronoun, you, in the singular. This one familiar language. Sometimes considered also my language, but yeah. More in general, simply familiar language towards someone of lower, equal or lower status. Should be unaccented. We have seen it before, by the way. Yeah, unaccented, kimi. Then we have the inclusive particle mo, also even. Then we have all many, which comes from by searching it like that, I find straight up another yeah, no, this one, ome, actually comes simply from o, as in the one from oi, a lot, as we have already seen. With this me, actually, I think straight up, yeah, technically would be the me from I, which on its own means I. We studied even its kanji, accented on its own. But in this case, with one of its extended meanings, I'd say simply, technically, number, amount, because yeah, simply it means actually ome somewhat larger. So yeah, with also technically the comparative implied amount, quite a lot, a little more than usual, a little extra. Technically a noun, unaccented by the way, ome. Here actually with the ni, so actually becomes an adverb. The ni can be considered as a particle, or I suspect actually the constitutive form of the classical copula nari. Either way, nowadays simply used to make the adverbs of nouns, well, adjectives usually. Technically also used with certain nouns. But yeah. So yeah, somewhat a little more than usual. Katte from kau, to buy, unaccented. The form, again, it's in u, so actually becomes double consonant te, because yeah, we changed the, was actually originally in pu, as already mentioned, so we changed the u into i, capite, the i fell, capte, difficult to pronounce, doubling of the following consonant, katte. The form required because then we had oku, on its own, unaccented, to put to place. After that, the form of a verb has the meaning. Can simply be to leave something in a certain state, to keep something in a certain state. Makes sense from to put to place. The more common one is actually to do something in advance. So yeah, figuratively putting it aside for future usage. Like in this case. Last but not least, we then have to. So literally would be again that form of the conditional. When after it we have e, a adjective which means good, okay, also, and so on. So yeah, this structure, as we have already seen before, toi, literal means if you do the action of the verb, it's good, it's okay. Actually used as in you should. Last but not least, we have the final sentence particle yo. So yeah, the translation is also you should buy more than usual in advance. If you buy in advance more than usual, it's good, literally. So yeah, in that sense, you should. Yeah, that we have already done. Here we found a potion, so yeah, good. Okay, here what we are finding. Okay, another Weedle. The widows are quite annoying because of the poison. Even more so if we get a critical hit there. Yeah, I suspect that Mankey here. Okay, we'll actually switch to at least give it some experience. I try putting PG is risky because of the lower level here. But I really need PG to increase its level here. Okay, some experience there. Okay, I want to use one of the antidotes for now to avoid Mankey to die here. Okay, no, I actually didn't need it, but yeah. Here it simply says when we use an item like this, Dokukeshi o Mankey ni Tsukatta. Yeah, Dokukeshi, as we have seen, the name for antidote in Japanese, simply from poison, and Keshi, eliminating, deleting, from the verb kesu, to eliminate, to erase, to delete, and so on. We change the U into it to make the consecutive form as the corresponding noun. Object particle, Mankey, the name of our Pokeball, ni, on, I'd say in this case, and then we have Tsukau, to use, unaccented, again, verb gonna verb, inu, so it becomes double consonant ta, to make the past form, the ta form, and so the past form of the verb, so used, a potion, sorry, not a potion, in this case an antidote, as we mentioned, on Mankey. Okay, and we have this. Mankey no toku wa kire sappari nakunatta. We have Mankey again, so the possessive particle no. Doku, again poison. Topic particle wa. Kire. We have seen several meanings. One of the most common ones would be technically pretty, lovely, beautiful, fair. Here, most likely, the other one, clean, clear, pure, tidy, neat. Here, weird enough, without anything else, most likely implied. Any, so actually the adverbial as an adverb. But yeah, after it we have sappari. You might remember this with that ri at the end. Yeah, it's one of those onomatopoeias in ri. Lucky the accent of those is always before the ri itself, sappari. This one means feeling refreshed, relieved. Funny enough, also can mean neat, tidy, clean. Other extended meanings, but yeah, the fundamental one would be that feeling refreshed or relieved. And then we have nakunatta again, so yeah, in this case, disappear. So as for the Mankey's poison, it disappeared. We could say neatly and refreshingly, relievingly. I suspect both are adverbs. But yeah. So yeah, that's what shows up when we do that. We definitely have to go back to to the Pokémon Center, but before doing that, I actually wanted to... let's change the order here for a second. There's something I would like to do to bet that actually here, as you can already see there, we have this. So yeah, we actually do this first and foremost. Konnichiwa, Kinorashi. And yeah. But yeah, as I was this backcatcher, you see, says Yosh. Notice the longer vowel with the long vowel mark, the small su at the end, so yeah, an abrupt end, more strictly speaking, a glottal stop technically. Yosh. Yeah, again from yoi. This is the classical form yosh, but yeah, nowadays used simply as an exclamation. The meaning is the same as yoi, so yeah, good or nice. Here actually used more in the sense of alright, as in at the start, for encouragement technically. Then he says, Kimi wa Pokémon Motteru na. Again, Kimi, you, wa the topic particle, Pokémon. Then we have Motteru, and again, Motsu to hold, to have. Better hold, in this case technically, because you have with you the form, as we have already seen, and then to add Iru, so a continuation or state. Last but not least, the final sentence particle na. I'd say in this case like an right, and then we have the question mark, so yeah, the rising intonation for a question. As for you, you are holding, you have Pokemon, right? And then says Shobu Shiyose. Shobu again, so yeah, battle, in our case of our Pokemon games, match more in general. We can turn it into a verb by adding suru, to do. Here, we make it the volitional form. We have to remember that it becomes Shio. Technically, we change into the usual she, and then to add yo, u, so yo. Yeah, let's. Last but not least, this is a term or language. Here I'd say simply light force or emphasis. Oh yeah, so we have our Pokemon battle here. And yeah, the usual structure, category of the trainer, possessive particle, no, proper name of the trainer, subject particle ga, and then the usual we have already seen Shobu or Shikakete kita. So yeah, let's focus. So yeah, wants to battle, as we adapted into English, as we have, or something along those lines in the official translation. Here we have seen has come literally asking, we could say in a way, for a battle, the verb shikakeru. But yeah, what I wanted to focus on is actually the trainer class, which is Mushitori Shonen. And yeah, it's Mushitori is from Mushi, again bug. Tori from Toru to take, to catch. Change the U into E to make the corresponding, the continuative form answer corresponding noun, technically taking. So yeah, insect, bug, taking, catching better, insect catching, bug catching. After it we have shonen, which is boy, Chinese compound. Should be an accent, yes it is, like most of those. Yeah, by the way, shonen is the term you might have heard also for shonen manga. So that the category of manga dedicated to boys, technically, more technically older, because for straight up kids there are kodomo, which mean child, as we have seen by the way before. But yeah, shonen means boy, so not adult. I'm not adult male. But yeah. So yeah, in Japanese it's bug catching, insect catching boy. The particle no is mentioned, and the name is Shinichi. Yeah. Yeah. Sends a Weedle, of course. Yeah, no, we'll send immediately here Bulbasaur. Okay. Kind of unfortunate losing some. Do not risk it at all. I'll use these. Parasitic seed. Don't remember the exact name in English. Yeah, now we'll proceed with the tackles. The body hits. I wanted to use that to be completely sure. With that, we don't risk it at all. By the way, I don't remember in these games we are getting simply lucky about the poison, or it's because actually because Bulbasaur is grass poison as for its types. So I don't remember if it's straight up because of that. Finally, PG got to level 4. Still not enough, unfortunately, for what I wanted. We'll switch. Yeah, we'll train our Pokemon, especially by doing that. For now... okay, let's actually switch to Mankey for a second. To try to give her, it's a female by the way, some experience. No, not the bag, I want to change Pokemon. Of course, we'll send again. Well, we can actually try the Rattata, I think. Because if I recall correctly, we'll see in a second. Okay, no, I forgot, but we'll try it. Yeah, we got unlucky there with the critical hit. Okay, we got lucky then that we got one ourselves. The good news is that we have a stab, same type attack bonus, because Rattata is normal type, while Caterpie doesn't. So yeah, even though it's one level higher, as you have seen, without the critical hits, inflicted more damage, so yeah, we were fine with that. Nice, Mankey level 4. Mankey is another Pokemon that I really would like to train. Priorities for now are, well, apart from our starter, but that is already pretty high thanks to the rival battle, are Mankey and Rattata for a certain reason, as we'll see. Well, no, not Rattata, I wanted to say PG. PG clearly, as you might have guessed, because of all these bug Pokemon. Yeah, here it says Maketa. Well, there it said, as the usual structure before I skipped it, 1 against bug catching, then simply the usual trainer class and name of the trainer. But yeah, the quote here is Maketa, with also the longer vowel there with the additional A. And then it says Kyatapi Nanka Ja Dameka. But yeah, so first we have Maketa from Makeru. Should be unaccented, if I recall correctly. It means to lose, to be defeated, to be beaten. Yes, unaccented. By the way, is the its Chinese reading is Fu, so it's actually the Bu found in Shobu. But yeah, Ru verbs and verbs, so we drop the Ru and the Ta to make the past form, the Ta form, and so past form of the verb with the longer vowel for emphasis. I lost! Then it says Caterpie, Nanka. So actually, yeah, something like from Nanika, Nani, what, the interrogative pronoun with the additional ka, which is the interrogative particle, which gives the meaning some to interrogative pronouns, so yeah, something, in our case for Nani, gives the meaning, if you think about it, makes sense because question interrogative particle, so undetermined, unspecified better, so yeah, something. Here contracted, Nanka. Nanka in particular, actually, instead of the usual simply Nanika something, is something like, things like, someone like, the likes of, actually often scornful or dismissive, so poor Caterpie. Then we have Ja, which comes from De Wa, then gets contracted, that's the form of the copula, Wa, the usual topic particle. So yeah, literally, as for being, actually required in certain structures. Yeah, in this case, actually, simply to because I'd say actually because of the following negative term, which is Dame. Dame means no good, not serving its purpose, useless, and so on. Dame should be the accent on the last mora, yes it is. Hopeless also, purposeless. No good, we could simply say. So yeah, actually, the Wa actually called out because of that, of the negatives. Yeah, it's often used with the negatives because technically you would say as for that's something, and then put the accent more actually on the negative. Because yeah, the topic technically is given information. But yeah, it's that another usage of the topic particle. Then last but not least, technically the interrogative particle. I say more here actually in a rhetorical question. So yeah, here is saying, isn't something like a Pokemon like something actually works in as being scornful and so on. Something like Caterpie is no good, useless, we could say, isn't it? So in that sense, we have that in a rhetorical question. At the end, the usual, we got some money as prize money. We'll quickly check what he has to say after, because yeah, you can speak to trainers you have defeated. Then he says she, with also that small tsu, sorry, again the abrupt end, suspension dots. Then he says mushi ga nigeru kara mata na. So yeah, actually that she would technically be should be the she with a long vowel. Which is an onomatopoeia clearly for sh. Yeah, like sh in English. Shash, hash, but yeah, no, straight up like sh. Here shorted actually with that small tsu, suspension dots. And then yeah, mushi, insect bugs, as you have seen, plural, most likely here in general. Subject particle ga. Nigeru, again, escape, flee. Kara, a conjunction in this case, because. And then matana, again, mata. So I actually used in greeting, well, to say bye. Yeah, in this case we have straight up only that, and then we have na at the end again. Yeah, usually we will see mata ne, but yeah, this character uses na instead. But yeah, clearly na used as ne. So yeah, he's saying because the insect bugs escape. In the sense, yeah, refer to that sh above, so yeah, to be quiet, and then says bye. So stops us there, funny enough. So yeah, actually, let's go heal, and then we'll actually end here by in the end we want to heal now. I wanted to avoid going back to the Pokémon Center immediately, but yeah, makes more sense. We want to go back to it at least once, we'll see why, if we are lucky enough to get... because yeah, I can mention that there is a Pokémon that we can find there in Viridian Forest, and that we would like to we definitely want to catch. But yeah, first and foremost, we will focus on going around the forest in general, defeating the trainers, as we have seen, the bug catchers. But yeah, I'll actually quickly go back to the gate and save there, and then we'll close the game there. But yeah, so at least we started the forest. We caught another Pokemon, really nice. And yeah, by the way, as I mentioned, because we catch a Pokemon, then we'll have to choose, we'll have a full team. We have to choose one to leave behind for now. Oh yeah, let's save. And yeah, notice that we have 6 Pokemon now in the Pokédex because of that. And yeah, so we saved, can close the game. And yes, so today, yeah, as mentioned already, we started Viridian Forest. We checked out some signs, talked to some NPCs, got some items, got a Weedle. Last but not least, we actually tackled our first trainer battle, apart from our rival, so another one of the trainers around the world. And so we actually got to see the insect bug catching boy as the trainer class, and yeah, healed, went back and forth to heal. But yeah, so next time, which for this series, it will be on Friday, because on Wednesday we'll actually continue our other Let's Learn Japanese with series. We started to avoid playing exclusively FireRed for another month or months, which is Super Mario Bros. 2, as in Super Mario USA, in its Super Mario Advance version. And yeah, that's why we have the Game Boy Advance next to here. So yeah, see you on Wednesday for that, on Friday for more Pokémon FireRed, and yeah, see you next time.